Hey everyone, Sam Davidson here with MEAWW Worldwide, and I am sitting with Darren Lipari, who you guys are going to be seeing very soon in the new Russo Brothers film, 21 Bridges. How are you doing?
It's doing amazing. Thanks for having me. It's been quite a ride.
So you have been in so many things, playing a cop.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, you know, you've popped up in so many TV shows,
Yeah.
and here you are again in 21 Bridges.
Yeah.
What is it about you? You think that they just keep on casting you as a cop?
You know, it's interesting. It's, I guess I played a lot of law enforcement types. And I, as an actor starting out, I really didn't know, I never saw myself as a cop or whatever, but I guess maybe there was something about my look, the way my essence, my delivery, that it fit kind of that New York kind of blue collar. I definitely have a blue collar look about me. So it was something that the casting directors gravitated to and my agents. So yeah, and it's been great. And then in this newest role, I've kind of been promoted lately. I'm a lieutenant in this film, so that's been different. But again, I think I have nothing wrong with being a cop. I think now in my career it's about, and when I talk to my representation, okay, like what type of cop is he? And, did he just, is he going through some sort of a trauma? What's going on? I think that's where I'm kind of headed, and I think that's something that's, I have a bit more to play with, which has been good.
Well, I mean, that is the perfect fit for this film. And by the way, I mentioned before we started, I did see the film, and it was really fantastic, you guys. I think it's going to be very, very well received. Tell me a little bit about how you landed it, how you were pitched the role.
He is from Ireland.
Right.
Darren is a Gaelic name, so Irish. I play Kelly, so maybe there was something in the air.
Yeah, maybe.
But it was a thing where I really just got a call from my agent, and I auditioned for a casting director named Evie Kaufman, who's a legendary casting director in New York. And I went out for a few films prior that I didn't get, and then I got a call for this 21 Bridges, and it was really a thing that I just went in and I read for her once. We did maybe a few takes. 3 or 4 months later, I get a phone call from my agent. Hey, do you remember that film that you went up for? They offered you the part, and you're going to be in Philly for a few weeks, and it was just that type of thing.
So at that point, did you know about the cast, or had they been yet to be cast?
Well, the cool thing was, at that point, the only person that was attached was Chadwick Boseman. But that being said, that was a great thing because I knew he was the type of actor that, wasn't going, he's really specific about the projects that he works on, and I respected him as a character actor. He played, Jackie Robinson and James Brown, Black Panther, obviously. So I knew that his name was attached and he was the star. This was definitely going to be a solid project, and I knew, as what happened, as you see, there was going to be some great cast members that also were going to sign on because of him. So.
Wow.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was, the cast was absolutely fantastic. You all seemed to work together so well. I mean, you had a few scenes with some of the big cast members. What was it really like working with them and learning from them?
I mean, again, I'm an actor, I'm a filmmaker, but I'm also a fan. So there were definitely some moments where I was like, wow, kind of a pinch me moments where I'm like, wow, this is amazing that I'm alongside some of these actors that I've just adored. So there was that, but then there was a thing where I was like, okay, we're collaborators, they're my scene partners. But sure, working with J.K. Simmons, just a huge fan, and just all of them, Taylor Kitsch, Stefan James, Sienna Miller. Again, it was really like a real, it was just, there was a bond. I mean, all the shoots were over, the whole film takes place overnight. So we were on a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. schedule. So there was a bonding element of that when you get a bunch of people, doing that and doing overnights. But again, so that was an amazing thing, and watching and learning, there was I kind of went into this project to be like, I'm just going to collaborate, I'm going to learn from these actors. And I did see the focus and the concentration when the cameras weren't rolling for, watching all of them, all the main cast. Because, you just really don't know until you're there. You hear okay, how are these actors? Are they kind of go in and out, or are they really preparing for these scenes? And that was something really cool to watch. But then they're also very casual and really just, again, really collaborative effort and very helpful. Like Chadwick Boseman was really cool on helping me out with some of the technical part of the film because, as you can see, it's very action heavy, and there is something to acting and blocking, and doing that, together. And that was something that he was really like, hey, let's, rehearse this quick, because there obviously, there's some shootouts and things like that. And again, that was cool. And as far as, him working with Marvel, doing a lot of this action heavy choreography, I know he had that background and was generous enough to help me out with that. So that was cool, you know. Yeah.
So what do you think, this film, how is it different than other cop NYPD films? Because there's so many, and I know, when you first see the trailer, it's probably easy to be like, oh, another one of those, and I'm not going to give anything away, but, it really isn't. So what do you think is different?
Well, I think the nice thing about this, it has a lot of things going for it. It is a modern take on an action thriller with relevant events now, with police and that whole certain moral issues. But then it's also, I think audiences are hungry for kind of a throwback movie of the 70s and 80s, and kind of using really practical effects and real, there's no CGI in this film. Not that there's anything wrong with CGI. And also the interesting, unique thing, because there's drama, there's a lot of layers to this film. And again, with the cast, the great thing about this cast is, if you look at the top 5 or 6 of all the lead actors, each actor is really like a leading actor in their own right, but they're all playing these characters that are really, that make it specific, and it makes you, the audience, really want to go on that journey with them, and kind of, you do empathize with all the characters, regardless if they're on the good side or the bad side.
Right.
So there are these layers that I think, it's not again, it's a very, there's a gray element to this film that I think is unique.
Yeah.
It's not like these are the clear cut. And right off the bat, I don't want to, again, I'm not a spoiler guy.
I just will say, though, it is so hard with this movie because I want to tell everybody how complex and amazing it is. But, we're not going to give any of that away. But, just know that a lot of these characters, including yours, there's a lot more than meets the eye.
Exactly.
To all of them, really.
Yeah. And that's a great, right? We don't want to, we want to see multi-dimensional characters. We want to be able to, right? It's all about, when you're watching something, regardless if it's a movie, a TV show, a web series, you want to invest in the characters. And I think right from the get-go, you're investing in all these introductions to all these various characters. You have an investment. Even with my character, I have personal stakes. I have to seek revenge on these guys because I am part of that unit
Yeah. And the Russo brothers are just fantastic. They are absolutely legendary. How do you think that them working on this project specifically helped bring out all of these layers, including, maybe some of their past work that helped influence that?
Yeah. Again, I've been a fan of them for a while. I know they did some episodes of Arrested Development, and I really, now there's a lot of talk about this whole, the comic book genre, but I think what they did was they elevated genre film. So with the Captain America movies that they did, it's a comic book film, but they kind of made the Winter Soldier a political thriller with kind of a throwback to All the President's Men or just Robert Redford stuff in the 70s. So I think what they brought in, this is a cop genre film, but they have they're such cinephiles, they're such fans as well. And you can see that they pay homage to different type of films of the 70s and 80s, like The French Connection or Escape from New York or The Manchurian Candidate. So it's they're all character based. So they are really I just think they're really great genre elevators. They can take something that you might think is specific, but kind of general, and give it a lot of depth to it. And again, they're just fans. They're moviegoers. It's I really feel they want to have a great story and great characters, but they're do I want to watch this movie? And when I'm in the theater, am I going to enjoy watching this movie?
Yeah.
And
they can even get people like me who, if I'm going to pick a movie on a Friday night, it probably isn't going to be a cop movie unless I'm with, my brothers or something.
Right. Exactly. That's an interesting thing too. There is something for everyone in this film, as far as you said. You might not, think that, but again, and also too, you have a great, a strong female lead as well in the cast.
That's always helpful, I think, at the end of the day too. And I think it's important, also.
Of course, because there are, women police officers, and I'm glad that, that's being represented.
Yeah. So there is a lot of gun violence in the movie. It is a cop movie.
Yeah.
Do you think that was ever a concern, for the actors when you guys were doing it, or perhaps for the Russo brothers? Is it too weird to be doing something this heavy with gun violence with what our country is kind of currently going through?
Yeah. I know, and in the beginning, they kind of do mention Chadwick Boseman's character is kind of known as being somewhat of a detective that does use excessive force, and they do acknowledge that. But I never really thought too much. I think it was about there is something to say about the violence, but the thing that about this film is that I don't want to say it's justified, but I think they were going for like a throwback, but it is a tricky. Yeah. I think they were maybe thinking more about, at least about the characters and kind of like, but I think they set it up where like, look, the way that you're behaving is not okay.
Right.
In a sense, but then it's kind of like, well, look, like this is something, and the setup of the film where the cops do get killed, they do have to kind of be taken care of in a certain way. But again, the interesting thing about the script and Chadwick Boseman's character is there is a lot of conflict, and I think he is representing a detective who is really trying to not shoot first. He does say like, look, I don't shoot first, like and he's really trying to get to the bottom of it, where I think there is that representation of like, look, there's a majority of the police that are like this.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think it tackles it in a very interesting and politically correct way as best that you can right now.
The thing I do like about this film, which I saw a few days ago, which was like such a cool, surreal moment. They bring up a lot of elements, but they don't want to hit you over the head with it, and they kind of bring it. You know what I mean? It's handled well.
Yeah, exactly. And so this film is about to be out. We're all super excited. I know that you have some other things going on. There's a new show that's going to be on CBS that premieres in January called FBI's Most Wanted. And I know you have a part in it in the first episode, correct?
I had part in the crossover episode.
Oh, in the crossover episode, yeah.
Yeah, where they actually introduced the whole Most Wanted team. So that was a really cool project. Kind of just a lucky experience where I was able to meet both casts. So I kind of went into CBS for a table read, and I was really able to, meet the cast of FBI and then work on set with the cast of Most Wanted. And then also kind of just be there with Dick Wolf and the creator, who is also legendary, Law and Order, all that stuff. So that was like a cool experience to just be a part of that. And that's also, again, another huge franchise that's going to be around for a while. Maybe there'll be another FBI spinoff. So I was just happy to a lot of these situations you just don't know what you're going to be a part of.
They're like, let's bring in the law enforcement.
Yeah, boom,
Darren.
And that one, I played I played an immigration guy in that one. So I wasn't wearing
it's a little different.
A little different, and it was something. I was playing the friend of Matthew Lillard, and Matthew Lillard does some bad things, and I'm kind of dealing with that, and also trying to help the FBI.
Yeah. Well, what else do you have in store? I know that you also do some stuff behind the scenes. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, originally I went to film school, and I wanted to be a filmmaker. I was really influenced by a lot of filmmakers like David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick and David Fincher and tons of filmmakers. So I really went to do that. So I still partake, and I've done some short films, but which you can see on my website, DarrenLipari.com. Plug that website right there. Basically, my style is I love mockumentaries. So I love Spinal Tap and Best in Show.
So some comedy.
Yeah, comedy. To be honest with you, I really am at the core a comedic actor. I'm really kind of I think I would do something if I was in a Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, or Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings Playbook. That's kind of my wheelhouse, comedically. Right now, it's a lot of dramatic work, which I don't mind at all. So it is I just like the mockumentary genre because there's so much you can get away with, in talking about real issues, whether it be this film I did was about, I did a mockumentary about bartending, because I was a bartender for many years. So I was kind of I played a character who was the world's most famous bartender. He was the biggest celebrity on the planet. He was a bartender. So it was just kind of talking about social media and celebrity and how celebrities might affect politics, but all in a very funny way.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing that, and I think it's really important too for actors or just people in general to just delve into other things sometimes, and just whether it be hobbies or just other parts of your creativity. You know, because it's a grind. It's a business that's somewhat uncontrollable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you.
I just wish our whole audience could have seen this movie so far, so I can like really ask him, all the crazy questions.
Yeah,
But
when the
that's
camera
okay.
shuts off.
Just
Yeah,
once the cameras are off, and of course go to his website, and if you have any burning questions, I'm sure there's a way to contact you on there.
Yes.
And make sure to check out 21 Bridges,
Yes.
which is released this Friday, November 22nd. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.